Welcome, everyone. Once again, the Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have everybody come on in the room, no matter what platform you're on, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook. Want to welcome everybody here to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. Come on in the room. We're going to get this party started on today as usual. So let me make sure. Let's see if I can cut on some music for you all today. See if we got anything going on here. So once again, I am Coach Steele, and you are participating here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we talk about all things financial literacy. We are here to empower, to grow a community, to discuss financial literacy. You name it, we talk about it. And so if I don't know about it, then I bring a guest on to talk about it. It's just that simple. But I'm happy to have everybody as you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. And as you come on in the room, make sure you meet me, make sure you greet me, say hello. I want to know where you're listening in, where you're tuning in from. Of course, no matter what city, country, or state that you're in, Coach Steele's Finance Training is international. We're happy to have you to be a part of our community here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. Good morning to you, Mr. Tony Sherman. And so as we look at Coach Steele's Finance Training today and what we're going to have a conversation about today, we are going to talk about financial literacy in 2026. What does financial literacy look like in 2026? And what's different? And those are the things, some of the things I want to talk to you all about on today. And as y'all come on in the room, make sure you share the live if you can. If you can share the live on your platform, that is great. Tag some other people in here. And as you do that, it helps with supporting Coach Steele's Finance Training. Let's go talk about, good morning to my beautiful wife, Yvette Steele. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training as well. Always there by my side, supporting me through thick and thin. Good morning to you, Miss Shauna Johnson. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training as well. Financial literacy in 2026. What does it look like to each and every person? This is going to be very interesting. Financial literacy in 2026 versus financial literacy just 5 years ago, 6 years ago. What does it look like? How is it different? What do you recognize in 2026 is different than what you could get away with or how you handled your finances in 2019, 2018, 2015? What are some of those differences? What are things that we have to pay attention to in 2026 when it comes to our finances? And so those are some of the things that I want to have a conversation with you all on today. So let's look at some of those things. One of the simplest things that you can look at in 2026, and this has been like a few years, but more now than ever, when we look at 2026 versus in the past, you know, if you had, let's say, a single person income coming in the house, you could still do pretty decent by yourself, which I mean, you still can now, depending on your bills and expenses. But having two incomes in the house in 2026 is so vital. It's so important in 2026 to have a two-person income or have multiple sources of income. And so that's one of the biggest differences that we'll see with everything that's going on here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. We talked about inflation. We talked about the impact of inflation on our pockets, what it looks like, what's it affecting. You know, last week we talked about your 9 to 5 versus inflation and that battle that was going on. So in 2026, it is vital to have two incomes in a house, or if you are the only person with the income, you need to have multiple streams of income as well coming in. Good morning to you, Kashana Johnson, a guest as well, tuning in on YouTube. And so I appreciate you supporting while we are live today on YouTube and on Facebook. Don't think I went live from TikTok on today. So I think I'm going to keep it focused on YouTube and Facebook on this morning. Good morning to you as well, Mr. Timothy Scott. As y'all come on in the room, make sure y'all leave a message. on the live. I want to greet you and appreciate you for tuning in. What do you all notice that is different in 2026 versus 2015, 2019? What are some differences that you all notice, whether it's positive or negative, from how you handle finances in the past to how you have to handle them in 2026? Mr. Tony Sherman says no mortgage payment now. And so that's a blessing to not have a mortgage payment now. What are some of the differences that y'all notice in grocery shopping? How was your grocery shopping different from maybe 5, 10 years ago versus now in 2026? What are some of those differences? I'm interested to see some of the things that you all have to say about how your grocery shopping is different in 2026. A few years ago, if I had $100 and I went to the grocery store, I could fill up my whole shopping cart. If I'm going to go buy $100 worth of groceries, I'm coming home with a shopping cart full of groceries. Now, $100, that shopping cart isn't even halfway full. It's like it's not even at a halfway point. You start counting. If you go by, how much is laundry detergent? Somebody in the comment section. Let's have a quick moment, and I'm gonna get back on track. How much is laundry detergent? The whatever it is, the Tide laundry detergent that you pick up with the handle, the orange looking one. How much is one of those? Tony Sherman says all prices higher everywhere. Shauna says price is most definitely higher. Have to shop smarter with everything. How much is one of those things, the laundry detergents? Is it $32? How much are they? Oh, $13.99 and up. I don't know why I thought that thing was like $30. About this big. But yeah, you go grab two of those, like you might be at the halfway point of $50. So those are just some of the basic things. By the time you buy some of the basics and you get over to the food, $100, you don't even have the shopping cart halfway full. So one thing that I've learned and I've adjusted with my grocery shopping, I'm very strategic with grocery shopping, and I buy more healthier stuff. Even though they say it's more expensive, I buy more healthier stuff that I know can last longer. And so I can make more meals with the healthier stuff that I buy. So I'm really saving more money, even though they say the healthy stuff lasts longer. Shauna says, I use Game, but Tide is higher, but use those coupons from the stores that offer them. Okay. So anyway, let's go a little bit further. We know the grocery shopping is a little bit different in 2026 and home buying. Surprised nobody mentioned this. Home buying is different. Home buying is much different. What do y'all notice are some of the differences when it comes to buying a home in 2026 versus a few years ago? What are some of those obvious things that we notice are different about buying a home? Financial literacy in 2026. We're going to touch on some of these basics. And I'll tell you now, one thing that you'll notice is not only prices are higher, but interest rates are higher in 2026 when it comes to buying a home. This isn't the highest that interest rates have ever been in America, but they are pretty high. And so when it comes to buying a home, and let's see if I can find one of my charts, and I'll share my screen to give an example. Average home price in America. Let's do some training here on Coach Steele's finance training. Here's a good question. What is the average home buying price in America? In that comment section, I want y'all to just guess. Without looking it up, I just want you to guess, what is the average home buying price in America? What would y'all guess? What would you suppose it to be? And if y'all are just tuning in now to Coach Steele's finance training, appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you share the live as well. Appreciate you if you share the live. You don't have to. So out of the kindness of your heart, thank you so much. But we're guessing what is the average home price right now. In that comment section, in the chat section, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, I want y'all to type it in. What do you think the average home price is in America? This is going to be good. Tim Scott says 250. Average home price is 250 in America. All right, let's keep going. What other guesses we got? What other guesses do we have? The average home prices in America right now. Let's see who else. All right, we got Tony Sherman says 400,000. Okay. Anybody else? Who else has a great guess of the average home price in America? 250,000, and we got 400,000. Timothy Scott says on the low end. All right. We got Shauna says 350 to 550,000. How you just gonna cover it? See, this is why y'all keep me lifted as I deal with Shauna Johnson. Ma'am, that's $200,000 range. Come on, tighten it up. Like, I can see if you did $50,000 range, $25,000 range, like difference. But come on, you can't cover a whole span. I need you to get specific. Come on. You see what Tony Sherman did. You see what Tim Scott did. Come on, give me a good guess. Pick some numbers. Pick a smaller range. You can't pick all the range. Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. Coach Steele's Finance Training. I want y'all to guess about what is the average median price for a home in America. Let's see if I can share my screen with you all. Boom. Right there. Y'all see it for yourself. This is crazy. The median home price in America for a single family home. We're talking about financial literacy in 2026 versus the past of how things used to be. Shauna Johnson said 350,000. Y'all are doing awesome on your guesses. I usually give Tony Sherman a hard time, but I must say that he did come closest. So Tony Sherman is the winner there with his guess, but we do see that that's pretty high. And so that didn't used to be the average. When we look at that, when we say 462 in May 2025, let's see if it shows a little bit more. I'll stop sharing. So we see what it says there as far as the average home price. And there was one that said about 412,000 as well. So that was pretty interesting to see that basically we know it's about 400,000 plus. Now that's pretty interesting because if that is the average, then let's see, mortgage calculator, then that means you're going to pay way more for a house than what you used to. Like it's nowhere close to the same. And then when we have these interest rates as high as they are now, that makes it even worse. Because now there's times where maybe you would pay for like a house and a half, or you would almost pay for a house twice. Now you'd probably pay for a house 2.5 times the amount that you actually bought it for. So a lot of those things are different now in 2026 versus in times before. So let's see if I can give an example. Let's see if we can look online at a house and do some investigating. So let's see, homes for sale. Homes for sale. Let's see if we can find a home for sale and do an example. And I'll show you all so you all can look at it on your end as well. Interesting. Now that's a good deal right there. Okay, I won't do that. I'll do. Y'all be patient with me. I just saw a good. My real estate brain kicked in, and I saw a deal in my mind where I could make a profit. So let's do homes for sale Savannah, Georgia. Man, yeah, that's a good deal right there. All right, here we go. And let's share my screen so you all can see what I'm looking at as well instead of just looking at me. All right, so. All right, so when we look at like homes for sale now and how it has an impact versus before, if we look at that one house right there, and I guess it fits the mold of what we're talking about. If the average home is around, let's say 400,000, it says this house is $421,000. But it is 5 bedroom, 3.5 bath. And let's see here. If we click on that, it might give us more information. So let's see if we do gather more information. Nice house, as you all can see. And give y'all a tour. That's the aerial view we're looking at here. Beautiful on the inside. Oh, very nice. Okay, I like this. Can anybody see themselves staying there? Okay, beautiful kitchen space, dining room. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Ooh, okay, fancy. As y'all see, this is what we're looking at. All right, so that's the house. Now, I feel like a real estate agent. Let's see if we can find the information that I'm looking for. All right. Plan details, monthly payments. I'm looking for property tax and insurance, but I don't know if I'm going to find it. Let's see. Okay, so we'll have to kind of simulate what those are. No problem. All right. All right, so that's the house that we're looking at. We know it's about 421,000. Let's go do some math on the mortgage calculator. So if you're going to buy a house, you need to do some homework before you just purchase so you can see what your payments are going to be. That's what we're looking at. We want to see, okay, how much is the payments going to be on this $421,000 house? Maybe you only put 5 or 10% down. Let's say you put 10% down. So now the loan amount on that house is going to be $378,900. And then we have the interest rate. It says 5.98. So let's say your interest rate ends up being 6.2%. Now we got the interest rate at 6.2% because the interest rates are still high. And you buy this house in April. Property tax for a house like that is probably going to be more than $3,000. But let's take PMI off. Let's say you don't do any PMI off, even though you didn't put 20% down. And let's say the home insurance is $1,500, although it probably is going to be a little bit higher than that for a house of this magnitude. So let's say you're buying the house. What are those monthly payments going to be? Can anybody guess? For this house, $421,000, and you're putting 10% down. What do you think the monthly payments are going to be for a house of this magnitude when we hit calculate? All right. It says your monthly mortgage payment is going to be about $2,695.64. And if property tax and insurance is higher, you're probably going to be closer to $3,000 a month. And so all of this is interesting. Good morning, Commissioner. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. All of this is interesting because, just buying this house, you get to see how much you're going to have to pay monthly for that. Now, who has an extra $3,000 a month to pay? Like, what if you make $5,000 a month? That's more than half your income. You still got to pay for other bills, expenses, and things like that. So these are some of the things that you have to think about when you're home buying. Now, when I say in 2026, I want you all to look a little bit further at this thing, because I want you all to understand it's going to show you total interest paid on this property. Look at that. The total interest paid that you're going to pay when you buy this house at 6%, Commissioner, is $456,532. But remember how much the house costs? The house costs about $421,000, but you're going to pay $456 in total interest. So that means you paid for the house at least twice in 2026. Now, well, you won't pay it all in 2026, but when you buy a house with the interest rates and everything going on right now, as you notice, good guess, Shauna, 3,200 on the guess. Now you see, you end up paying for the house at least twice. Total, you're paying almost $1 million in total payments for those 30 years, 360 payments. This is a amortized loan. So it gets pretty interesting when you're buying a house in 2026 on how all of this works. And I wish I had time to show you an amortized calculator on it, but I don't think we're going to have time to go over it. But it's something that you all need to learn and understand, and be able to understand the concept that whenever you have an amortized loan, when it comes to that amortized loan, you are going to pay majority of that payment. Let's say you got to pay $2,700 a month. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If you're going to pay $2,700 a month, a majority of that payment is going to principal. I'm sorry, it's going to go to interest. It's going to go to the bank, not to your balance. So that's something that you need to learn and understand. And I might be able to give you all, no, that one's not going to give the example that I want to give. It might. Let's try again. I'm going to try one more time, and maybe I can show you all what I'm talking about. But this is the difference between buying a home in 2026 versus in the past. Now, when I'm saying this, I'm not telling you all to not buy a house. By all means, if you find a house that you like, then buy a house. I'm going to continue to buy properties. I'm going to continue to buy investment properties and things like that. It just makes sense to, let's see here. How do I move this out of the way so you all can see a little bit better? No. All right, so I'll do this so you all can see a little bit better. And then I'll go up here at the top. If I don't mess it up, I may have. Okay, I think I messed it up. Refresh. $421. All right, here we go. So if you're going to make these payments, and we're looking at the beginning of when you are making these payments, 2026, it says all your payments in 2026, interest you paid on that balance is $17,550.51. Principal payments is $3,335.29. And what I'm trying to show you all is when you have a 30-year amortized loan on a mortgage, especially for my young people that are buying houses, what I want you to understand, let's say when you look at principal and the interest payments right there, you see a total of about, let's do the quick math, $20,885.80, right? So when you pay about $20,000 towards your mortgage payment, only $3,335.29 actually went to your balance to bring the balance down. The rest of that 17,550 goes to the bank. And so when you look at the difference of what's happening here, every time, look at the next year, 23,000 went to interest, 4,000 went to the balance. That's why that balance is taking so long to drop, because it's a 30-year amortized loan. 22,000 in 2029. That means 3 years later, 22,500 goes to the bank. Only 5,300 goes to your actual balance. So that balance keeps slowly getting lower, because the bank is going to make their money first. And what you end up finding out when you study amortized loans is the bank does that for maybe about the first 12 to 15 years. Yeah, they get paid first, and then they start letting you pay down more of that balance later on. So how do you all feel when you look at that? How do you all feel about these amortized 30-year amortized loans in 2026 if that interest rate is around 6%? That's what you're looking at, having to pay for that mortgage at least twice and some change. So in 2026, it's important that we discuss the differences when it comes to financial literacy in 2026. This is why this is a conversation we need to be having. This is a conversation where we need to be sharing this live and coming together and have a discussion of what's going on when it comes to our finances. We need to equip individuals with the knowledge and strategies needed to navigate through today's economy, build wealth, and make informed financial decisions in a rapidly changing world globally. You know, back in our area where we live in South Georgia, you know, you could easily go find a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom for about $70,000, $80,000, like that. And you could snatch up a couple of them because you only got to put so much down. But now those same properties that were $70,000 or $80,000, you need to have about $200,000 now for those same properties. Because of inflation, they've increased in value. So you can't buy the same size house for the same price that you did in 2015, 2019, that now it is in 2026. And when you do buy, when you look at an amortized calculator, you get to see how much am I really paying for this house. I know how much they said the house is, but is that what I'm actually paying? And that's why I teach people the HELOC strategy, accelerated strategies, so you'll learn how to pay off your mortgage at an accelerated rate, have access to equity, be able to build wealth, and all of that good stuff when you learn how to strategize wisely and use what you have. Now, understanding the economic environments that we're in. And of course, in 2026, you got to be aware. I talk about inflation all the time and how it impacts our daily costs. Interest rates affect borrowing and investing. Global events influence markets. You all seen what I've said about oil and the oil industry and these different companies when there was a crisis. And I told you all war plus oil equaled money. And now that it seems like the crisis in the war is dissipating, it's starting to die down, you're going to see some of the markets in some of those sectors like oil companies, you're going to start seeing their charts kind of go back down on the value of each share. And of course, you can't win financially if you don't understand the environment that you're operating in. You cannot expect to win financially if you don't know what's going on in the economy. And so in 2026, it is mandatory to pay attention to economic trends and not just your paycheck. And so my point that I want to get to you all today, if y'all are listening in that comment section, I want you to write down this point. Budgeting is no longer optional. In 2026, budgeting is no longer optional. There are consequences and repercussions to not budgeting in 2026. There are consequences and repercussions to not knowing what you have coming in and going out consistently. It's not an option on budgeting, you need to really have your finances on lock. You really need to know, when am I paying my bills? When am I paying these expenses? What am I doing? Do I have enough money? Am I making the most of this moment? You have layoffs that are happening. You have furloughs that are happening. You have companies that are struggling, trying to make it from one month to the next. They don't know how long they can keep their employees. They don't know how long they can keep paying people. Mom and pop shops are getting put out of business by other chain companies and things like that. There is a struggle for companies to be able to keep their employees. And so with all of that happening, you really need to know your finances. You really need to have your emergency funds and different things in place. Let me put my comment section back up so I can see what y'all were saying out there. And so I need you all to pay attention to what's going on, especially my young people out there that tune in to Coach Steele's finance training. I need you to know that budgeting is no longer optional in 2026. Tony Sherman says, I bought my first share of EFT this month in stock market. Congratulations to you there, Mr. Tony Sherman, being able to get out there. And we talk about dollar cost averaging all the time here on Coach Steele's finance training. So budgeting is no longer optional. It is a way of life. It is something that you should be doing. Just like you breathe, you should be budgeting. Leslie says, so true. Budgeting is not an option. You need to know what you have coming in and going out. At the end of the day, if you don't know what you have coming in and going out, somebody else does. Somebody else knows your money better than you, and nobody should know your money better than you. And so y'all have to understand what I mean by that when I say budgeting is no longer optional. It's not cool to say, well, I don't know what I have coming in and going out. I just spend, and whatever's left in there is left in there. No, that's not cool. That's not maximizing what you have. You need to be calculated sniper when it comes to your finances. Managing money is the foundation of financial literacy. Your budget is your backbone of your finances. As y'all are tuning in to Coach Steele's finance training, this thing is important. I need you all to be tracking your income and your expenses. And you can use different systems. You all have heard me talk about the 50-30-20 rule that you can use as motivation to aspire to get to. But you need to eliminate unnecessary spending during this time frame. Because as times get more difficult and your income doesn't change, that means you're making less even if they try to pay you more. That means you could potentially make less even when they're paying you more, because the cost of living and things get difficult. Mr. Tony Sherman says budget done last week of each month for the next month. I like that. Go into the next month knowing and be prepared. Y'all be surprised. Like I talk to you all about budgeting all the time, and I keep notebooks with me. I keep papers with me. As you see, even right here, well, I don't know if you can see it. It's a bunch of numbers and stuff. I get papers. I double check my numbers, triple check my numbers. I go through here. I got a piece of paper here with a bunch of numbers on it. I'm constantly doing some type of math just to double check that what I decided to do, the decisions that I made, are in check. I'm constantly writing and checking over my work to make sure the decisions that I made make sense. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with getting somebody else to double check for you. Hey, I'm thinking about making this move. I need you to be accountability partner. Does this make sense mathematically to you? What I'm doing here? And you don't have to be out there on an island by yourself to try to figure out everything by yourself. If you don't control your money will control you. If you don't control your money will control you. And you'll end up chasing money because you're in such dire need of it that you no longer have control of yourself. The 9-to-5 has control of you. Your situation has control of you because you didn't take time to discipline yourself to get control of your situation and your finances. Every dollar should have an assignment. In 2026, financial literacy, every dollar should have an assignment. And so you need to know what your dollars job is. Like, you should be looking at your bank account, you should be looking at your wallet and saying, where are you supposed to go? Where are you supposed to be? What are you doing? Like, your dollars should be your employees, and they should have your best interests in mind to help you get to where you need to be. And so debt management is a part of that, and eliminating debt. You got to be able to manage debt and eliminate debt strategically. There's times where you'll be able to eliminate debt, and there's times where you just got to flat out manage it because you can't eliminate it yet. But in the managing, there should be a strategy to help make debt be eliminated, disappear, be gone, so that you can free up your cash flow to do other great things that you desire to do. We should not be a babysitter of debt. In the comment section, I almost said tell your neighbor, but in the comment section, say don't be a babysitter. Don't be a babysitter. I don't want you to babysit the debt. I don't want you to get comfortable with the bad debt. I don't want you to become best friends with bad debt. I don't want you to get used to bad debt eating up your cash flow. I want you to learn how to manage debt and eliminate debt. Debt is one of the biggest barriers to wealth in this generation in 2026. Credit card debt is at an all-time high right now. There's trillions of dollars of credit card debt. And so we cannot babysit this debt. This debt, credit card debt, 18%, 20%, 22%. It's not worth it. You should not be paying interest on the bread that you bought 2 months ago. That's what I'm talking about, Leslie Moore. Don't be a babysitter of bad debt. Don't be a babysitter of bad debt. Thank you, Kashana Johnson. And so we write these things, we speak these things because we refuse to be babysitters of this debt. And check this out. When you babysit debt, ladies and gentlemen, you have to pay debt to babysit it. Normally, when most people babysit something, they get paid for taking care of the child. They get paid for babysitting the child or the people or whatever it is. But when it comes to babysitting debt, you don't get paid. You pay to babysit. And so that doesn't make sense to me. That's working backwards. That's not working smarter. That's working harder. So in 2026, we don't want to babysit the debt. We know we want to do debt management and we want to eliminate debt. Even Leslie said 28% on those credit cards. You should not be paying 28% on the bread that you bought 2 months ago, 3 months ago, ladies and gentlemen. You should not be paying 28% on the milk, or if Finesse two times would say, he would call it Merc. You should not be paying 28% on the Merc that you bought last month, last week, and all of that good stuff. So I really want to crack some more jokes, but I won't. But you all understand what I'm saying. Debt is one of the biggest barriers to wealth in this generation. High interest rate debt drains income, and strategies like the HELOC strategy, Snowball method, Avalanche can help eliminate debt faster. Even the cash flow index method. And so debt keeps you working for money instead of money working for you. And here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, you all hear me talk about it. We are here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. We believe in making your money multitask. In that comment section, type it in, make money multitask. That's what I want you all to do. And of course, you can go to my website and you can get a t-shirt. You can go buy a t-shirt on my website, Coach Steele's Finance Training. The website is Steele's Finance Academy, steelsfinanceacademy.com. You can go in there and get a t-shirt, make money multitask. That's what we do, Coach Steele's Finance Training. We got our money working in different avenues and different asset classes, different streams of income coming in, because we got things that we want to do. And it gets to a point in life where you don't want to be limited on that 9 to 5. So I want you all to wear it, and I want you to do it as well. Make your money multitask. What we got going on in the comment section? I know y'all be turning up. I think Leslie know what I was talking about when I said no Merc. We got to make money multitask. That's exactly it. So let's go a little bit further in here as we talk about make money multitask, clearing up this bad debt, freeing up our cash flow. Create structured plans to eliminate debt, not just manage it. We want to be able to do both. Income expansion and multiple streams. Another point that we want to talk about. We just dealt with debt. If you don't know how to deal with your debt, if you need financial coaching, if you need advice, feel free to reach out to me. Of course, I do not work for free. I want to get paid. I got a family to take care of. We got work to do in Cameroon. You know what I'm saying? So I can't work for free. I don't want to work for free, but feel free to reach out to me if you need some help. Now, we need structured plans and we need income expansion and multiple streams. Now, when we talk about income expansion, that in other words, how can I make more money and how can I create other avenues to make money from? All of that you have to be strategic in. And so one thing that I do when I talk about financial literacy, I also like giving back. And I'm talking about sowing into others, helping grow ministry overseas in Cameroon. So many of you that are Facebook friends with me, you can always go to my Facebook page and there's an opportunity to become a subscriber. And many of you that tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, some of you are already a subscriber to my Facebook page. Those of you that aren't subscribers on my Facebook page, not a problem, but I want you to take an opportunity not just to follow or be friends on Facebook, but find the link and subscribe. Because as you subscribe, and it's only 99 cents a month, that 99 cents that you give, I take and I do mission work in Cameroon, Africa, with feeding people, clothing people, paying for medical issues. Sometimes money goes to orphanages, and we build churches in Cameroon. And so my subscribers on Facebook, what I do is sometimes I will put information or videos or pictures of things going on in Cameroon that I don't allow my regular Facebook friends to see. So those of you who can and will, when this live is over, go click the subscribe and register to be a subscriber on my Facebook page. That way you can help people over in Cameroon, Africa. If you do, it's much appreciated on my end. Now, when we talk about creating multiple streams of income and increasing your income, even if you have a 9-to-5, if you have to go get a certification, if you need to go to some training, if you need to go to a class, do those things to create the opportunity to get more income or potentially a raise or a promotion. Whatever it takes, I want you to practice doing income expansion and getting multiple streams of income. In 2026, one income stream often is not enough. Like there's like 70% of America is, they're living paycheck to paycheck. And some people are even worse than that. And so you need to find another way to make more income. So let's go a little bit further. You need a side business. There's nothing wrong with having a side business. You'll see many people on Coach Steele's Finance Training where they have a 9-to-5, but they also have their own business. They're entrepreneurs as well. You can do investments. You see Tony Sherman just mentioned that he just started investing. And so he's going to continue to dollar cost average and invest into an asset class so his money can multitask and work for him. You may do skill-based income. And so those are different things that you can work on doing to create other streams of income. Wealth is built through increasing income, not just cutting expenses. And I want you all to know that because you can cut expenses, but I want you to grow wealth in different ways. You can cut expenses, but you can also increase how much you make. And so you create a bigger gap to grow money. You cut expenses, you increase your wealth. There's a bigger gap for you to make more flow, for you to make more money. And so you have to practice both. Don't just do one, do both. You got to multitask. Make money multitask by being creative. Wealth is built through increasing income, not just cutting expenses. And so how can I earn more with what I already know or have? That's a question you got to ask yourself. How can I earn more with what I already know or what I already have? Sometimes people look around and they say, well, I don't have enough, where I can't do anything else. Stop cheating yourself out of a moment and an opportunity to go be great with who you are and with what you know, the talents that you're equipped with. There's some kind of way where you can make money And you can create an opportunity for yourself by applying yourself to what you already know and what you already have. You got to be able to work with what you got. So let's go a little bit further here on Coach Steele's finance training. Next, investing and wealth building. Kashana Johnson says, be creative, make it work for you. That's exactly it. One thing that Shauna has done is she created her own business, and she used her own creativity to create her own business. And she's very, very well known for her camo chronicles, her camo jackets that she tailor makes towards people's personality, their life experiences, the things that they're connected to. And there's a lot of symbolism on those jackets. And so it is amazing what she does, in the smile on her client's face when they get to put on this jacket that represents who they are and what they come from. It's almost like, a lot of times we tell our testimony, but her jackets allow her clients to wear their testimony. It allows them to wear their life experiences and who they are and what they represent, as well as tell it, because those jackets tell a story. And so that is something that she's done with herself and what she already knows and what she already has. And that's a great example of how you use those things to create another stream of income. So next point, we talk about investing in wealth building. Saving alone is no longer enough due to inflation. You can't build wealth just by putting money in a savings account anymore. It takes a little more than that. Because inflation is so bad, you can save and make 3%, but inflation is 3%. So you're really not getting ahead. You're just barely maintaining your wealth that you do have. So you're not building, it's just maintaining what you already have. So it takes more than that. And that's why we have to use stocks, real estate, business ownership, investing in commodities, whether it's gold, silver, different things like that. And so understand the benefit of compound growth. Long-term versus short-term strategies. You got to learn how to take some chances and invest. You got to put some seeds in the ground. You got to find different gardens to put your seed in so that you can grow wealth. Yes, it is taking a chance. But what if the investment goes bad? Well, you got to take a chance and say, you know what? I'm investing over here, but I'm investing with money that I don't need. So if this doesn't quite pan out like I thought it would, I'm not traumatized. I don't lose my mind. I don't get upset. I don't get frustrated. I don't shut down and say, I'm never going to invest again. And I have investor's remorse. So I stop myself from growing wealth. I remember, and I quote this all the time, there's a great man who says, I never lose. I either win or I learn. Does anybody know whose quote that is? So many times people mess up on one investment and they shut down and have investor's remorse. But this great man says, I never lose. I either win or I learn. In other words, that investment, it was just one moment. That's not a loss. I'm going to learn from that, and I'm going to take my actions and what I know and what I have now and try again. And I'm going to make more than what I lost. I'm going to play the full 4 quarters out. And if I end up winning more than I lost, then than what I lost in that moment, then I never lose. I either win or I learn. I learned from it and took that bad experience and made it a win. I had more success than I had failures. So you didn't lose. You learn from it and you win. And his name is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela said, I never lose. I either win or I learn. And so I'll need you all to start applying that. And so understand compound growth, long-term and short-term strategies. Shauna says, yes, you either win or learn. You have to look at it like this was the right mindset. And so even with her making a camo jacket may not turn out right, but let's say it doesn't turn out right and she has to throw it away or she can't use it. It's not a loss. She's going to learn from that one jacket and go make 10 more jackets, make 20 more jackets. That one jacket isn't a loss. It's a learning experience on how to do it better. And so let's go a little bit further. Money must be positioned to grow, not just sit. You got to make your money multitask, and it has to be in a position to grow, a position to flourish. And application, start investing, even if it's small. That's something that I want you all to do in 2026. And that's what we're talking about here on Coach Steele's Finance Training is, about how's financial literacy different in 2026. There's some adjustments that we have to make. There's some things that I showed you all today about whether it's home buying and a few other things, but we got to make adjustments. And so as we make those adjustments and we make the right moves, we're going to win. We're going to win big while everyone else is sitting back afraid. We're going to win. And so start investing, even if it's small. I'll need you all to get what we call financial discipline and have a financial mindset. So when you have a financial mindset and you marry it up, you mix it with financial discipline, then behaviors drive financial success more than knowledge. You'll see your behaviors change because your behavior is going to drive your financial success. Because you have the right mindset, it's going to affect your behaviors on what you do, what you go buy, and why. And so behavior drives financial success more than just the knowledge. You can have the knowledge, but you got to put it to action. And there's sometimes we have to practice delayed gratification. We have to have consistency, and we need to avoid emotional spending. And so as we continue to move forward, we have Michael Griffin. He gives a reference for you all to go look at. And so he says he gives great advice. Simon gives good advice too. Keep encouraging the people. Don't just work for your money. Make your money work for you as well. And so even a part of that, like having a good financial mindset, is finding the right people to listen to, and finding the right people to listen to that's going to tell you what you should be doing right now. When you go online, you'll find different people telling you you can do this, you can do that. At the end of the day, it's going to come back down to this financial literacy and this backbone of doing the basics to help propel you to where you need to be. And so a lot of what you listen to online, you have to learn, is this applicable? Can I apply it to my life? Does it make sense for me to do right now? And so definitely find the right platforms to listen to where people are teaching you real life examples of what to do. And also, are the people who doing it, are they actually putting it to practice, or are they just saying it? And so that's important as well. And so I don't know who AI Jewish guy is, but nothing wrong with AI, but I definitely want to listen to someone who's actually putting it to practice, who's actually doing it, or either the person's name is Al, I don't know. But either way, find good platforms for people. So delayed gratification, consistency, avoid emotional spending. That's another important one. It's easy to get emotional and go spending and wasting money in places that you shouldn't. And some people, if you don't want delayed gratification and you want certain things now, then find creative ways to make more money. And then you don't have to delay your gratification on so much if you find another creative way to make more money. Leslie says, comes back to literacy and discipline and being in the right environment for someone to be able to hold you accountable. Shauna says that emotional spending is no joke. I personally don't, but know those who do. They feel good while shopping, feel a void instead of getting to the root of the problem, but it only causes more problems. That's exactly it. That is so true. Big facts right there. It feels good in the moment, but then they still got to deal with the issue, the root, and now they got to deal with the financial problem too. So now it becomes an even bigger problem. They deal with two issues. And so these are things that we got to get control of. Financial literacy without discipline leads to repeated cycles of struggle. It just becomes a pattern, a way of life of struggle. Financial literacy in 2026 is not just about knowing, it's about applying, putting these things to practice here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. The goal is not just to survive the economy, but to position yourself to thrive to have success in it. And that's what I desire for everyone here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. I want you all to have success with your finances. I don't want you to uh, just be barely making it. And just because when you're just barely making it, as soon as one event happens, as soon as you got to get a car repaired, as soon as some tires need to be replaced, as soon as the air conditioner or the heater or something happens, when you don't have strategies and things in place, it's traumatizing to the household. All of a sudden, you're trying to figure out, I don't know what we're going to do. And I don't want you all to be that way, because it doesn't have to be that way. You just have to take the necessary actions to position yourself in better situations financially, and not be afraid to step out there and try something new that works for you. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. You all did an awesome job on today, holding yourselves accountable. Give yourselves a round of applause in that comment section. Find those clap emojis, find those hands, the celebration emojis. Y'all did an awesome job on today here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, holding yourself accountable and listening, pouring positive information about your finances. In 2026, we know that we have to budget strategically. We need to know what's coming in and going out. So at the end of the month, like Tony Sherman mentioned, we can look and say, I spent $500 at Walmart. I spent $1,500 at Walmart, whatever that number is. And you can say, did I need to? And man, I'm making Walmart rich. Why don't I buy some stock in Walmart since I'm spending so much money there? That is something that I do. If I see that I spend a certain amount of money in a certain sector or field, and I see that the rest of the world has to as well, then I'm going to invest some money in that same field, sector, or company, so that way I can get paid too. They're getting my money, I need to get some of theirs. I got to pour it back into me. And so when you do your budget, that is going to help you determine where you may need to invest as well. Doing a budget just isn't about managing your money, but it's about seeing norms and patterns and what is everyone else doing. And maybe I can put my money in there and make some money as well. So budgeting will always pay you back on the back end. Awesome job once again here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. Those of you that would love to subscribe to my Facebook page, go to my Facebook page, find that subscribe link. It's probably all the way, it's probably the first, let's see if I can show you all. So when you go to the first message that went on my page, in the comment section on Facebook, you'll see this link on there, that first one where it says building churches in Cameroon, Africa costs. But I love it. Kingdom building is an honor. As you subscribe, you participate in feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and kingdom building, building those churches. So go to that link, click the link, and subscribe for 99 cents a month. And of course, about once or twice a week, I'll put some videos on there of things that's going on in Cameroon, whether it's music, whether it's food, or whether it's ministry, different things like that. You'll be able to see and help me out in my mission in Cameroon, Africa. I appreciate everybody on supporting on today. Y'all did an awesome job. And I look forward to next week. And I'll check my schedule. Those of you that are supposed to be doing interviews with me, if my schedule is free, I'll probably be doing an interview next week. So I look forward to talking to you all again. Share it, tell a friend about Coach Steele's Finance Training, and subscribe. Y'all